Imagine for a second that you've finally done it. You've achieved the dream, you've scraped together every penny for, 28 years? You've taken out a massive mortgage, maybe a little too massive, and you've bought that house in the suburbs.
You can already picture it. The quiet life, tea under a tree.
And then the very next day, your boss hands you a file.
And it's not just any file. It's a project with a deadline that is, it's physically impossible. The logistics are a total fantasy. And the penalty for failure isn't, getting fired.
It's execution.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are stepping away from the modern world and transporting ourselves to a bustling tea house in 8th century China. We are unpacking Ma Boyong's incredible historical thriller, The Lychee from Chang'an.
And thriller is absolutely the right word. Even though it's set in the Tang Dynasty, specifically 755 AD, it reads just like a modern high-stakes project management crisis.
Oh, totally. It's got predatory loans, office politics.
A supply chain nightmare that would make Amazon sweat. It's all there.
So let's set the scene. We're in Chang'an, which at this point is basically the capital of the world. It's the absolute peak of the Tang Golden Age. But our hero isn't some famous general.
No, not at all. Our hero is a guy named Li Shandai, and he is the definition of a nobody. He's 52, a mid-level bureaucrat in the Shanglin office, which is basically like the Department of Imperial Gardens and Produce.
So a glorified gardener.
A glorified gardener who is also a massive math nerd. He's timid, he's risk-averse, and he just loves numbers in a world that values poets and warriors.
And he just made a huge financial error. He bought that house in the Gi Ward Way out in the suburbs, and to pay for it, he took out a loan from a Buddhist temple called Fragrant Accumulation Money.
Which sounds so peaceful, doesn't it? But it was basically a loan shark operation run by monks. The interest rates were insane.
So he's desperate, he's vulnerable.
And that's when his colleagues pounce. They take him out, get him drunk.
And slide a document across the table. They tell him, congratulations, you've been appointed the new Lychee envoy.
And in his drunken haze, Li Shandai thinks this is his ticket. A procurement job means a budget. A budget means he could pay off that loan. So he signs.
Without reading the fine print. And this part is just so devious. He gets home, sobers up, and looks at the official order again.
There's a sticker. A tiny piece of paper pasted over one of the words.
A sticker.
Yeah. He peels it back. He thought he was procuring lychee jan dried preserved lychees. Which is easy, but the character underneath is lychee xian. Fresh lychee.
And that one little change
changes everything. It turns a simple grocery run into an official death sentence.
Okay, so let's break down the why here. What's the fundamental problem with shipping fresh lychees 1,000 miles in the 8th century?
It's a problem of biology versus geography. The lychees grow way down south in Lingnan, modern-day Guangdong. The capital, Chang'an, is over 1,000 miles to the north.
And lychees go bad famously fast.
Incredibly fast. There's an old saying, 1 day the color changes, 2 days the scent changes, 3 days the flavor changes. After that, it's just rotting mush.
So do the math. 1,000 miles. Even the fastest imperial horses take weeks. You've got 3 days.
It's impossible. And the emperor wants them for his favorite consort, the famous Yang Guifei, for her birthday on June 1st. There's no way. Li Shandai has been tricked into a mission where failure, and therefore execution, is the only outcome.
And his reaction is just, it's heartbreaking. He doesn't fight it. He just accepts his fate. He goes home and decides to divorce his wife.
Which sounds brutal, but it's actually a grimly pragmatic move. In the Tang legal system, if he's executed, his family could be enslaved. He's trying to cut legal ties to save them from his own death.
He's literally planning his own demise.
Right. But before he does, he goes for a drink with his 2 friends. One is Han Cheng, a fellow bureaucrat, very cynical. He's like, yeah, divorce her, then die. Good plan.
But the other friend?
The other friend is a fascinating choice by the author. It's Du Fu.
Wait, Du Fu, as in the Du Fu, the poet sage of China.
The very same. But here, he's not a legend yet. He's just a broke, idealistic writer who can't seem to get ahead. And he's the one who gives Li Shandai a little bit of hope. He tells him a story about an old soldier who escaped an impossible trap by just charging forward. He tells him to cross the river.
Cross the river?
Yeah. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
If you're going to drown anyway, you might as well drown trying to get to the other side. Don't just sit in Cheyenne and wait for the axe. Go to Lingnan, see the fruit, do the math.
Find out exactly how and why you're going to fail.
Exactly. And that, for a numbers guy like Li Shandai, is irresistible. So he goes. He rides all the way south. And the reception is not exactly warm.
The local governor thinks he's a scammer, right?
Totally. The military governor, He Luguang, Basically says, nobody is this stupid, you must be here to embezzle money. He almost has them thrown in the river.
But Li Shande, he finds these two very unlikely allies.
Yeah, this is where it turns into like a startup movie. You have Su Liang, a Persian merchant, and A Tom, a local Dong girl who owns a lychee orchard.
So you've got the project manager, the subject matter expert,
And the venture capitalist. Su Liang is the money.
But why would a Persian merchant fund this?
Because Li Shande, as the lychee envoy, has the authority of the emperor. He can grant travel permits. And Su Liang needs those permits to move his own goods tax-free across the region. So he agrees to bankroll Li Shande's experiment.
And they treat it like a science project. They have to solve for two main variables, preservation and speed.
Right. And they start A/B testing everything, sealing the fruit in wax, washing it in salt water. Su Liang provides these cool double-walled jars, which are basically ancient thermoses.
And Li Shan is back in his element. He sets up this huge grid on a wall, sending out test riders on different routes, land, water, mountain passes, and using messenger pigeons to get the data back.
It's all about the data. He uses colored dots, red for a color change, purple for a scent change, and a big black dot for rot. And the wall is it's covered in black dots.
Nothing works.
Nothing. Even with the best methods, the fruit rots before it even gets halfway to Chang'an. Physics is winning.
Until the breakthrough moment.
Yes. He's in the orchard with Atong, completely defeated, and she makes an offhand comment. She says something like, the only way to keep it fresh is to not pick it.
And that's the eureka moment.
That's it. Wai Shande realizes, don't ship the fruit, ship the branch.
The transplant method.
Exactly. You cut the whole branch, stick the end in a bamboo tube with soil and water, and the fruit on the branch thinks it's still alive. It extends the freshness window from 3 days to 11.
11 days. That's a game changer.
But is it enough?
For 1,000 miles.
It's close. So close.
Yeah.
But the heat of the journey still gets to it. He needs one more thing, ice.
But they're in the tropics. There is no ice.
So he designs this absolutely brilliant, insane relay system.
This is my favorite part of the book.
It's incredible. The lychee travels north on the branch. Meanwhile, ice is harvested up north and shipped south down the river. They meet in the middle at a city called Jiangling, and they transfer the lychee branches into new jars packed with ice.
It's a logistical ballet. He's calculated horse speeds, river currents, ice melt rates. He solved the equation.
The math works. He has a plan. He rushes back to Chang'an thinking he saved his own life, and he goes to the ministries to get funding. And this is where the adventure story becomes a brutal satire of bureaucracy.
This part was infuriating to read. He has the solution, but the Ministry of Revenue says, sorry, not in the budget.
And the Ministry of War says, horses, not our problem. Everyone just passes the buck.
It's the classic runaround. He realizes that in the capital, facts and data don't matter.
Only power matters. So he has to play the political game. He ends up navigating between the powerful eunuch Galishi and the prime minister Yang Guzar.
Who is the consort's brother, the most dangerous man in the empire.
Right. And Li Shande gets a meeting. He lays out his grids, his data, his ice relay plan, and Yang Guzong. He couldn't care less about the science.
What does he care about?
He cares that this little bureaucrat has found a way to make his powerful sister happy. And more than that, he sees an opportunity to flex his own power. He takes over the project and gives Li Shande the silver tablet.
Ultimate authority. He can do anything he wants in the emperor's name.
And this is the great moral turning point of the story. Up to now, we're cheering for Li Shande to solve the puzzle. But now that he has the power, we start to see the real cost.
He goes back south, and to make the plan work, they can't just pick a few branches. They have to destroy entire orchards.
Atong, the girl who gave him the breakthrough idea, is horrified. He promised he would protect her family's orchard. But the officials just declare it a royal orchard, which is a fancy term for we can take whatever we want.
And it's not just the trees. To move everything fast enough, they conscript local farmers, forcing them into labor.
The launch of the transport team is this horrifying scene. It's not a scientific experiment anymore. It's a brutal military operation. Horses are run to death. Riders are pushed to collapse. The variables on Li Shande's beautiful grid are now human lives.
He's watching his perfect math problem turn into a meat grinder.
He's succeeded in the logistics, but completely failed his conscience. The team leaves, and he races back to Chang'an to wait at the city gate.
It's June 1st, the deadline. He's a nervous wreck, and then he sees it.
A single rider. Just one. Out of all the teams and all the backup plans, Only 1 horse and 2 jars make it.
That is cutting it incredibly fine.
But it's enough. The rider gets the lychees to the palace, the city bells ring out, the consort smiles. Cheng'an erupts into a massive party.
And Li Shande doesn't celebrate.
No, he goes to a graveyard. He just sits there among the tombstones, listening to the city cheer for his success, feeling completely dead inside.
And then comes the final nice twist. He meets with Yang Gozong, who's thrilled. He offers Li Shande a promotion, and Li Shande asks the one question that's been eating him alive. How much did this cost?
Because he knows the numbers. It must have been astronomically expensive.
And Yang Gozong just laughs in his face.
He laughs, and he says, cost. Oh, it didn't cost the treasury a thing. He explains that they just passed the cost down the chain. They increased the tax and labor burden on the postal stations and the peasants along the route.
So the poorest people in the entire empire paid for the consort's birthday gift.
Exactly. And that is the moment that Li Shande, the timid, quiet, risk-averse man, finally snaps. He roars. He screams at the Prime Minister of China about morality, about the cost in blood and sweat.
You just don't do that. That's a death wish.
It absolutely is.
Oh.
And Yang Gozong is furious. But, weirdly, he doesn't execute him. Maybe he sees him as too insignificant to kill. Instead, he has him beaten and exiled.
Sent all the way back to Lingnan. He loses everything. His job, his house, his status, the bad ending.
It seems like it. But history has one last twist. This is 755 A.D. Do you know what kicks off just a few months later?
The Aleutian Rebellion.
The rebellion that shattered the Tang dynasty.
Yeah.
The rebels sack Cheng'an. The emperor flees. Yang Gozong is killed by his own soldiers. The consort, Yang Guofei, is executed. The entire center of power is wiped out.
But Li Shande.
Li Shande is thousands of miles away in the south. His punishment, his exile, saved his life.
That's just incredible irony.
He ends up living as a simple farmer in Atong's village, tending to the very orchards he helped destroy. His failure and punishment become his salvation.
It really makes you rethink the whole story. His technical success was part of the rot that brought the empire down.
It's such a powerful commentary on competence versus morality. Li Shande was a genius. He solved the impossible. But he never stopped to ask if the problem should be solved in the first place.
It's that line from Jurassic Park, right? Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
It's exactly that. And it brings up a really uncomfortable question for us. We live in a world of one-click ordering and same-day delivery. We get our fresh lychees all the time.
And we never see the logistics behind it. We don't see the human cost. We just see the box on our doorstep.
We're all the emperor, in a way, demanding the impossible. And there are thousands of modern Li Shandes using data and algorithms to make it happen. We just never see their grid of costs.
Li Shande mastered the grid, but he only found peace when he got off it completely.
A lesson from 8th century China that feels, I don't know, a little too relevant today.
Well, that is a lot to chew on. Next time I order something online, I'm definitely going to be thinking of Li Shande and his ice relay.
Just, check the shipping details. If it says Tang Dynasty Logistics, maybe cancel the order.
Good advice. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the lychee from Cheng'an, a story of fruit, physics, and the price of a quiet life.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you in the next deep dive.